This incident occurred when I was very young, so young that my recollections of it are somewhat fragmented. I'd estimate that I was around 5 or 6 years old. My parents have filled in the gaps in my memory, so I'll share the complete story, encompassing both my perspective and theirs. At that time, we were residing in an old farmhouse. My parents, who weren't financially well off, rented the place from a landlord who owned several properties in the neighborhood. My father worked at a steel mill, often on the midnight shift, resulting in irregular hours. This detail becomes crucial in the narrative, and perhaps it's why we're still here today, enabling me to recount this story. One night, as we slept in our old farmhouse, I found myself sharing a bed with my parents due to some frightening nightmares that tormented me. My father had recently switched from the midnight shift to the day shift. Out of nowhere, we were jolted awake by frantic cries for help from a woman. "Help! He's going to rape me!" "Help!" We all snapped to attention instantly. My father, who had just returned from his day shift, jumped out of bed and cautiously made his way downstairs, picking up a fireplace stoking pick. He was almost at the door when the woman's cries sounded again. "Help! Help! Oh my God, he's coming!" A woman's voice on the other side of the door was sobbing hysterically. My mother, a genuinely kind-hearted woman who always extended a helping hand, reached out to unlock the deadbolt. However, my father stopped her, giving her a stern look. He asked through the door, "What's happening? Who's after you, and where is he?" The voice on the other side replied, "I just need to get inside before he arrives. Please, please." The sobbing persisted. My father switched on the porch light and instructed the woman to stay on the porch with her back against the door. He unlocked the deadbolt but left the chain lock in place, slipping a brick we used as a doorstop into the gap. He told the woman, "Take this and use it for self-defense if necessary. I'll be right on the other side of this door, and if he comes after you, I'll come out to help. In the meantime, I'm calling the police. They'll be here soon." At this point, the woman outside the door began to lose her composure. She began slamming her body against the door with uncontrolled rage. "What's wrong with you? Let me into this damn house right now. What kind of __ people are you?" My father forced the door shut and relocked the deadbolt. He immediately called the police, who arrived within 10 minutes. However, when they arrived, the woman had already disappeared. The brick we had used as a doorstop was lying on one of the porch steps. My parents provided the police with a detailed account of the events and the woman. In the nights that followed, we tried to get some sleep, but my parents repeatedly checked all the locks and windows throughout the night. I didn't fully understand what had occurred, but I couldn't help but think that my parents had acted oddly and wondered why they hadn't let the woman in. I believed that a man had attacked her while we called the police. A few days later, we learned that the police had been called about a similar incident at another house. My father's brother-in-law worked in law enforcement and informed us that a police car happened to be in the vicinity and arrived without lights or sirens. The officers saw a woman standing on the porch at the front door, just as my parents had described. As they approached her, a man jumped out of the bushes on the side of the porch. He was quickly apprehended, and the police found a long kitchen knife hidden in the bushes where he had been waiting. It turned out that the man and the woman had been working together to break into houses. The police deduced that the woman would get people to open their doors and let her in, and then she would let her partner in. We can only imagine what they might have done once inside. When I heard this story and combined it with my memories, it sent chills down my spine. Consider what could have happened if my father had been on the midnight shift or asleep. Growing up in a tough neighborhood in Gary, Indiana, my father was always cautious about those around him, which usually annoyed us but may have saved our lives.